A millionaire mocked her black maid's son, invited him to play chess for fun in front of powerful guests, expecting him to be entertainment. But the boy didn't just know how to move the pieces. Within minutes, he exposed her ignorance, humiliated her with brilliance, and turned a private joke into a public reckoning. What she thought was a game became the end of her reputation. Elias Santiago adjusted her son's collar for the third time, her calloused fingers trembling slightly. "Be polite, mijo," she whispered. "Don't answer back, no matter what they say." Elias nodded. At 17, he was used to being invisible in places like this. They were standing inside a sprawling Beverly Hills mansion. Oak staircases, golden chandeliers, and laughter that echoed like it had never been interrupted by hardship. Maria had worked here for 12 years as a housekeeper. Tonight, she was short-staffed. So she'd brought Elias to help carry trays during a charity gala hosted by media mogul Celeste Langford, a woman who believed poverty was just poor planning. As Elias served hors d'oeuvres, Celeste's diamonded finger pointed. "You," she called out. "Yes, you. What's your name again?" "Elias." "Oh, perfect. Elias. Come here, darling." Her voice carried a sharpness masked in sweetness. "I hear you like chess. How charming." Laughter rippled behind her. "Why don't you show us how you play?" "In the barrios." The crowd chuckled. Champagne swirled in crystal glasses. Maria froze by the service table, her eyes darting toward her son. Elias glanced at the vintage marble chessboard laid out as decoration. His face didn't change. He simply nodded. "Of course, ma'am. Shall I set up black or white?" Celeste smirked. "Oh, I always play white. Family tradition." Elias began placing the black pieces, every piece perfectly centered. The guests, a mix of politicians, CEOs, and socialites, looked on as if a performance was about to begin. "Let's make this interesting," Celeste purred. "If this young man makes even one decent move, I'll donate 5,000 to a local school. Fair?" Snickers. Then silence, as Elias made his first move. It was the Sicilian defense. Someone coughed. A former senator leaned forward. "Isn't that?" "Yes," whispered her husband. "And he's playing it well." Celeste didn't notice the shift in the room. She moved a pawn with unnecessary flair. Elias countered instantly. No hesitation, no wasted time. He wasn't just reacting, he was setting a trap. His mother watched, lips trembling. She had watched him study on broken laptops, use cardboard pieces, practice until sunrise, alone, in silence. Celeste played a reckless bishop move. Elias smirked internally. His next play baited her into losing tempo. Within 5 minutes, her control over the center was gone. That's not possible," she murmured, eyes narrowing. "It's called the accelerated dragon," Elias said calmly. "Would you like to resign?" Gasps. "You little—" Celeste caught herself. "Where did you learn to play like this?" Elias leaned back, still calm. "I studied 243 grandmaster games. I memorized openings from Kasparov, Anand, Carlsen. YouTube, books, library archives, everything you never imagined someone like me had access to." The room was silent. Celeste moved her queen. A desperate, flawed move. "Check," Elias said softly. One guest placed a hand over his mouth. Celeste leaned forward, stunned. This is ridiculous." "You invited me to play as a joke," Elias replied. "But I don't play to entertain. I play to win." Maria stepped forward, placing her hand on her son's shoulder. "He taught himself, ma'am," she said, voice firm. "Every night after school. On library time. On borrowed power. You thought he was just my son, but he's been preparing to beat people like you his whole life." The next move ended it. Checkmate. Celeste stared at the board, disbelief freezing her face. But the room was no longer looking at her. They were looking at Elias. Congresswoman Naomi Brooks stepped forward, stunned. "Elias, are you applying to colleges?" "I want to," he said quietly. "You'll want to check your inbox on Monday. I have some people who'd like to speak with you." Celeste tried to laugh it off, but no one laughed with her. Her friends offered only nods and silence. Her show had backfired, and the boy she mocked had outplayed her in front of the very people who once applauded her. Elias gathered the pieces, placed them gently back in their velvet box, and turned to his mother. "Let's go home." They walked out together. No applause, no revenge, just dignity. What Celeste didn't know was that this game would be written about, shared, and remembered far longer than any of her galas. Because Elias hadn't just won a match, he'd shattered the illusion that brilliance belongs only to the wealthy. And in that moment, a new legacy was born. She didn't raise her voice. He didn't ask for respect. Comment, "True genius needs no invitation" if you believe talent speaks louder than privilege.